Hi guys, welcome back. Scatlink here, we're off for more Prince Persia the Sands of Time, and in the last episode, I recounted a lot of my childhood experiences with playing this game and how I got walled for the previous two rooms, being the Hall of Learning, which is the library, and I guess the other Hall of Learning, which is the observatory, and the fact that there's only health before and after the room, not within. In this episode, we need to free Farah before we can continue our climb to the Tower of Dawn, which we seem to be very close to. So we need to get up higher to find another way in so that we can reach a few switches so that we can open the door. Because we can't exactly leave her behind.
Be careful.
There was a bit of a hang there when she said that. Yep, and annoyingly enough, these birds did not want to come down and fight us while we were up there. Hopefully now I've aggroed them, they'll come down here and fight me. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Would be nice if they did. It looks like I'm going to have to fight them up there. Once they're aggroed, they... Oh, you know what? That's one less bird that I have to deal with. Okay, the remaster most certainly seems to have a couple of hiccups. Never mind, he's come back, but I got him, so it's fine. I know that the remaster does have a few problems that people have mentioned, but it's not that big on Sands of Time. Damn it. I am just swinging wildly. I do realise that. Get it. Yeah. Why is the camera doing 360s? I'm not touching the camera. I think it was trying to lock onto the enemy, but because it kept flying around me, it was a bit weird. But it seems fine right now. There are more birds. We can hear them screeching. Actually, that is a good camera angle. Lean and jump. That is a rope, and I do not want to go against the wall, so...
What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm working it out as I go.
We can't climb up, we do need to swing. I was about to say that we can actually swing while we're turning, which is actually quite nice, because even Wind Waker, which came out later, didn't allow us to do that. So there we are, we've got up here. Those birds haven't aggroed yet, so if we're quick enough and swing over... Aha! Now the funny thing is, he says that he's figuring out as he goes. I mean, he has visions, but it doesn't completely tell you what to do. So it's not a dead giveaway. I'm trying to rule one. It's not working. There we go. There we go. Swing up here, climb up, and we should be able to just walk up to them and attack them both. One single swing! Buzz off, you buzzards. Alright, what do we do now? There's a door that we can't get into, but there are more planks of wood. So we want to wall run over here. Have another rope. Grab that. Cycle over and swing to the next rope. Get enough height. Unfortunately, we can't jump immediately after grabbing. Do need to kind of build momentum a little bit. Make our way over this way. I could have rolled and took and avoided full damage there, but unfortunately, I'm not clever enough. I want to drop here and do another roll, because that would also avoid full damage. Yeah, so if you didn't already learn that you're supposed to avoid full damage by rolling in the observatory, it's actually useful here, and yeah, now that I know, it's a lot better. Give this a full 360 turn. It did not lock in. Hang on. There we go.
I'm out.
And it opens up all the doors in this area. That's actually a very convenient lever. Look how many gates it just opened up. This one lever did 5.
I could marry her. After all, she is a Maharaja's daughter. A conquered one, but still. Her blood is royal. Besides, what better way to tame her insolence? It's not so bad for a woman to have a little spirit. It's a challenge!
Thank you for interrupting me right there with your sexual musings. But, yeah, it's like, with that one lever, even though we're near the Sultan's Vault, the Treasure Vault, which is in the Tower of Dawn, a little bit lax with the security here. I will mention that. Even though I guess the Hall of Learning was more of a cheat than anything. Just going to do that real quick. We've got some scarabs, but we also have a sand cloud here. So that's pretty nifty. We'll take that real quick. We're exactly where we need to be. So not really a problem there. A couple of swipes here. That will take them out. Yeah, scarabs don't seem to take any more or less damage no matter what sword you have. Since the start, they've always taken about 2 hefty whacks. Yeah, they always seem to just have the same... Like, they're invincible for the one hit, but you're knocking their carapace open. And the second hit hits them.
There you are.
Come on. It can't be much further.
I say, as I go the wrong way, just to have a couple of sippies. Wow, I was a pixel off. You can save again if you wish, if you don't want to do all that again, but I will leave that for later, because of course we do have a save coming up. Although it could be a little bit awkward, so I might want to use... No, I will most certainly want to use a
Not again.
Mega Freeze coming up. But not against the Scarabs that the Prince is kind of moaning about. Honestly, these are like the least of our worries. I don't know why he's complaining about the Scarabs of all things. Should be complaining about more sand zombies. Instead of, you know...
Watch out for spikes!
Beings are created by, or controlled by the sands. Why are you so close to me, madam? Yeah, she's got the hops. And we've actually needed another power tank, because we just made a new sand tank with the previous cloud that we just absorbed, which was cloud number 40. We've only got 8 left, which is one more tank to make.
Look! That's the bridge to the Tower of Dawn.
We're on the ramparts surrounding it,
Wait
but
for me.
we do have sand zombies, unfortunately, so we do need to start absorbing them. However, if I could just lure a few more over here, or if I just skidoosh. Oh no, wait, I can't, because I literally just said we already have a new sand tank, so I don't have the power tanks for a Mega Freeze. Never mind. It would be nice, though. Alright, so we got these hooky dudes, but they're pretty much the same as the Hunchbacks. I just want to take care of this brute here, because he's causing me problems. There we go. So if I vault, attack, and stab, just like the Hunchbacks as well as the Chain Wielders, you can take out the hooky men very easily. Basically, if they've got grey pants, you have to do a vault, attack, and stab for a quick kill for them at the very least. But for anybody who is blue, you can't vault into them. Reds, you have to attack. It's the same with the yeah, because he'll just smack me off. It's the same with the harem ladies, actually, because if you recall, they are in red. So it doesn't matter what type of enemy they are. It's the colour that they're wearing is kind of like the strategy you want to use against them. Blue, vault off the wall. Either a lunge or a vault over, if you have the distance. If they're brown, vault, attack, stab. And if they're red, it's a double attack, then absorb them afterwards. That works. Right, I believe your absorption should be the last thing I need for the new power tank. Nope, I need one more. And annoyingly enough, we don't have it. It's probably because I froze one with a stabby. Which is a little bit of an annoyance. We have a sand vortex here, but there's some water down there, which I would like to go get. So if we... Wow, she's got the mad hops. You can see it right there. But there's a sand cloud right here, so I want to grab that first. We're on the final 7. Well, the final 8. That would be the first of 8. Number 41, precisely. Because then I can cycle over here and heal. To be fair, it might actually be better fighting down here because you have a little bit more room. But at the same time, because there's trees, it might cause you to have a bit of a problem with vaulting off of them or even springing off of them for lunges. 2 sand clouds right next to each other. Practically. That's pretty nifty. I mean, again, if you weren't collecting all the sand tanks all the time, you could just keep using them for Mega Freezes if you weren't building all the sand tanks by collecting every single one. But obviously, when you make a power tank, you need to do 16 absorptions to make a power tank, so you can actually do a Mega Freeze. So, going for 100% actually makes clearing enemies a lot harder. Interesting. We're doing a lot of wall running, but then we just let someone kill us, but then it shows us moving a block afterwards. Did we rewind? Is the sands being weird? Actually, yes, they're being incredibly weird. You'll see that in a second, because there were 2 sand clouds here. There was no way you don't have any sands at this particular point.
there's another one on the other side.
Stay there. I'll climb around.
You can actually see her as well. Right, if we back jump here, swing and climb up real quick, we can easily dodge this corner, which she's not able to, but at the same time, she has the ability to go downstairs, as we just saw through that room. Also, pay attention to the corner we just went around.
There's a staircase. I'll meet you in the courtyard down below.
Be careful on the stairs.
There we are. I wanted to get the stairs on the screen, but I was terrible. Right, so we'll be meeting her down there, which you can easily see as low poly, even on the PS2 version, despite the CRT fuzz. Because there are a bunch of slopes, there's no stairs. Keep that in mind. Yeah, we're kind of breaking the immersion a bit here. Speaking of, rewind, you fool! You have the ability! Sure, I guess. And that didn't kill us?
Prison. In my father's palace was a prison much like this. I had never set foot inside. Now here I was, myself a prisoner, seeking an escape.
Why didn't he rewind? All you have to do is press the button on the hill, and your hand is pretty much next to it at every opportunity. You don't have to take it out the holster. That's why we can rewind at any time in gameplay. There were 2 sand clouds. There is no way you didn't get a single absorption. That jump around the corner was super easy. Maybe you had to rewind once due to a misclick. Oh dear, oh well. You have at least, if you didn't grab any sand clouds, 3 out of 4 tanks remaining from the base set. This makes no sense. It's just so that they could have a prison section, but even in the prince's story, makes no sense considering that, you know, you have the Dagger of Time. But the vision that was shown in the Sand Vortex just now is making sense, because this is what we saw the prince doing, wall running quite a lot onto these platforms, basically making our way down. Now, sliding down tapestries wasn't a thing into the next game, but thankfully we have these lifts, so that's not too bad. You just gotta make your way down. Also, we are shirtless now, just like it is in most of the promotional artwork for the prince. But at the same time, you may notice that he was holding the Sword of the Mighty Warrior that we got in the Royal Baths, not the Sword of the Avenging Warrior that we have right now. Yeah, so even though we're now looking like how we do in the key art and the official renders, we don't actually have the sword that's showed in the official renders at this specific point in time. There's no way to have that combination in normal gameplay. And I always found that a little bit odd. Even though this obviously looks like more than a traditional scimitar, I guess the design just paired very well with the Dagger of Time. Well, this one looks more like a traditional, very fixed scimitar. Or cutlass. But it's more of a cutlass for the Sword of the Mighty Warrior, but what do I know? All I do know is that it's not accurate, and it kind of bothers me a little bit, especially when I was playing this for the first time on my 4th playthrough. I was like, oh, so now we're finally shirtless, but I don't have the correct weapon in the artwork. That's a bit of false advertisement. Then again, I don't know, things must have changed in development. And of course, in the original Prince of Persia, you start in dungeons, and, you know, you don't really have a dungeon/prison area. So this is where you get that biome. And it is a short area, but at the same time, why does it happen? You could have rewound. It's the one blemish in the story that I just don't seem to understand. So we have blacksmiths, we have these hammer wielders. They're the only ones that actually break the chain of brown enemies that are easily vulnerable and killable like this. They have those hammers where, if you noticed, even with lunging or vaulting from the wall, it's not exactly easy to hit them. Instead, they act like a red enemy, where you can vault on top of them. Oh, I'm inside him. Okay, there we go. You can vault onto them and do a double attack and then absorb them like a red enemy, not a brown enemy. Kind of interesting. There is a sand vortex being built here, but there's a sand cloud over there. So I'm just going to let a few more spawn in. And then I'm just going to skadoosh! Which is what I wanted to do earlier. I don't think there was that many in here, though. So this may have been a waste, but I'm not hitting that many at the same time. So, considering that the bar is now full, that was actually not too bad. Okay, more spawned in well after the fact. Fair enough, I guess. Okay, these bars are really messing me about. These bars really are messing me about. I can't hit anything. Like, those little prongs sticking out the floor are messing my angle. So I couldn't even smack him when he was prone. Like, what the heck, dude? Oh, well, he was going for a wind-up, but I wound him up by knocking him back. So, can I get this guy? Nope, he's swinging up. That's fine. Well, I knocked you down, so I'll slow you down, do that. Cut you up. I missed, and for some reason I couldn't cancel out of that. Yeah, that uppercut really leaves the prince wide open, but he doesn't normally miss that because it's such a wide swing. The slam makes more sense than with this. Alright. I'm going to vault over you. Double smack. He body blocked me by teleporting in. Bloody hell. This is a mess. The spikes of the cell stop me again. I need to get out of here. Nope. Oh, I hit him. I mean, that worked. Kind of did a weird backflip that I never saw before, where he didn't do like a full-on vault. He kind of like did a grapple thing, like in Warrior Within, but it's weird how I'm noticing that now. I didn't realise he was slowing down. Alright, come on you. Let me do it here. That should be good enough. There we go. Smack that obstacle in the way with those lances. There we go. You can actually see the battle scars he's been taking despite wearing a chest plate. Alrighty. We'll grab the sand cloud in a bit. Let's get a little bit of a flash forward to see how we can get out of here. Because we didn't rewind for some reason. Now, I am aware that they can't account for the fact that you do have rewind, so in the cutscene, if you had 0, then it wouldn't make sense that you rewound.
Alright, I've decided. I will marry her. I'll tell her the first chance I get. Time we put an end to all this fencing about and not saying what one really means. We've made it this far. It's foolish to deny what we both feel.
Now, when it comes to the cutscenes, obviously they can't account for everything, but you'll see that that's a bit of a contradiction later on. Let's absorb this real quick. Get all my power tanks back. And we have a switch. Pressure plate. Opens the door, but, you know, this is the prison. It's not going to be that simple, is it? Also, think about this for a second. The prison is literally right underneath the courtyard that we saw as we were approaching before the ramparts gave away, which are surrounding the Tower of Dawn, which is basically the Sultan's treasure vault. I'm guessing for people who get close, they're easier to just lock up, but if they escape, they have a second chance to raid the vault, which is very strange, considering that you have the palace defense system, which is so intricate in its design, as well as the key itself is very intricate. It seems very odd that the prison is here. Again, it feels a bit shoehorned in. That's just my take on the situation, though. Breakable wall here. One single swing, as I said already. I haven't really seen the effects of the current sword that we have smacking walls like that. Also, I do want to apologise for my commentary is a bit stilted. I have to keep chopping it up so I'm not talking over the game, because subtitles don't even show up. Which obviously can be a bit awkward for editing purposes, but hey, that's why I'm editing this. Not just for that, but for also, you know, sound mixing, because the game's sound mixing can be a bit dodgy, especially in this version, because I'm pretty sure it's a little bit louder in the other versions, but audio quality is also different between versions. I think this has the best quality from every single one.
A torture chamber. It was the first time I had seen such devices at close range, close enough to touch. Where were the men whose trade it had been to apply the question, to extract the answer their king sought, if indeed there was one? In the end, they had met the same fate as their victims, guards and prisoners made equal by the sands of time.
Which you didn't use, need I remind you. Sorry, I'm going to still keep harping on about that. It doesn't make sense. And again, it will be contradicted. Now, to get out of here, you need to pull both these levers. And no, slowdown's not going to help you because technically you slow down as well, but you are slightly faster than your opponents. You want to basically bring these walls in close enough so you can wall jump, but then you need to do one more in order to get onto here so you don't fall down. Unfortunately, bats are going to annoy us, so go into a landscape mode by pressing L2 to zoom the camera out to a set perspective, and you can see what you're doing. Which is perfect, because we're looking into the room. Just trying to make sure I get rid of these bats so they don't mess me up. Close in, swing, there we are, nice. Jump over here, there we go. Zoom it in a bit. Now, this one's a bit awkward. We got the same thing again, but this time we don't have to pull them. Wall jump off the switches on the walls to bring the walls in front of you. And then we got to wall jump again very quickly. And now all of these sand clouds that we're going to be getting on the way out of the very short-lived prison here are on the way out, which is even more interesting, because it's like they needed to stick a few more in. They didn't know what to do, so they put this in. I mean, I guess it would have been made more sense if it was in later, but I don't know. They obviously shuffled it for here. And this is a very tall area. There we are. That should be saying Cloud 45. Now, wall jump off of the pressure switches because... Okay, I'm not timing it very well. Let me wait until it resets, because stepping on it doesn't reset it. And I've got to get the timing right. Every time I press jump, he's already doing the flip, so I'm just doing it at the wrong time. You got to jump off the pressure plates as you touch them, so that when the flooring comes out, so you can continue wall jumping out, keep the chain going until we can climb onto another beam. And that's our ticket out of here. Jump to the ladder, flip your way round, and get out quick. Because it's going to start collapsing. Swing over, climb. I do not like this camera angle, to be perfectly honest with you. That's a lot better. All these ladders are just falling as we're climbing. And we're out of there! Into the low poly area that is now high poly. The courtyard that we saw right outside of the Tower of Dawn that we fell off the ramparts into the prison below. So I was trying to focus on the enemies. Also, music change. We're going to be hearing that a lot, because this is the battle theme for the Tower of Dawn. Yeah, the Halls of Learning or library battle music doesn't actually have that much of a stay, because we're that close to the end now. Okay, I should have been able to hit him there, but it didn't work. We're building a sand vortex right here. By the way, if you need health, climb up the stairway. Climb up this stairway. Can I hit you, please? No, you know what? I'll stab you. That'll do. I guess I could have done another... Actually, you know what? That might actually be worth. Let me take you out real quick and absorb you. If you need health... Oh, God, she's dying. Go up these stairs and there is a fountain. I'll show it in a second because I need to take all these guys out really quick. And it is actually a good idea to do this. Oh. There we go. Kill you. I couldn't get you, but that's fine. I'll just absorb you instead. Thankfully, that gave her enough time to heal her bow a little bit. Heal her bow. Repair it. You know, it's basically your health. She's dying. Alright, this is a problem. Okay, he missed with his hammer. Yeah, they're giving us a lot of big brutes at the moment, so she could easily get hit by stray sword swings. I'm gonna start stabbing enemies here. Oh, God! Okay, we're good. Oh, wait, I stabbed you. How did that not... Oh, I don't have enough power anymore. Right, I'm gonna have to... Oh, I unfroze. This is bad. I froze them all, but it didn't work out for me. Thankfully, she's repaired her boat again, so she's actually been staying on top of it. Must have bought her enough time by freezing all the enemies. Stabbing them with the dagger at a time. Right, get out of it! We're done. How long was she fending them off for? How long was she waiting? Because we were knocked out. Right, before we take that, because that is actually where we're going to end it for today in particular. You can also see that there's a sand cloud right beyond that gate, which, as I said, is the Tower of Dawn. Right, now what I was trying to say about the goddamn fountain. Come up these stairs. We saw the low poly area earlier on, because that's pretty much a telltale reasoning as to say you're not going to make it. Because there wasn't even a fountain here. So we'll take this real quick. And we'll have to come back up here in a second because of this pressure plate here. But before I save, I want to come up here. Because that sand cloud that we saw before it all collapsed, we can claim it right now. We've only got 2 more to go. And here's where we fell in. That kind of collapsed and caved in. Again, why did you not rewind? Because that's where we just were before we fell into the prison. Also, funnily enough, this gate, although obviously we're in the same area that we were in before we fell in, there's no poles on the wall, and this is no longer glowing, because this is all part of the previous area. The thing is, I'm standing here, I didn't do any clever trickery or anything. You can step on this after you grab that, or pass by that sand cloud. You can basically see the low poly area at very close range in both areas. So, it's kind of weird in my opinion. You probably could have got away with keeping it high poly. Just saying. The PS2 wasn't much of a slouch. It just kind of dropped frame rate occasionally here and there and everywhere. But you didn't have to have collision. Just saying. But anyway, that'll do it for today.
Be careful!
You've seen me go into this many a time. But then again, the last time you truly saw me go into this, I had a bit of a headache. And that was right before the Hall of Learning, the library. So that actually makes a lot of sense. I don't remember her shouting that when I was about to go into this. But maybe that means we're going to have some intense visions about what's to come. Because we are literally at the doorstep. We just got to get past that gate. See you guys then. I really wasn't expecting her to make that more extended.